a long time, it was just a backyard in a Puget Sound suburb. But then a proposal was made.
Hi, I'm Mike. I was approached by a carrier to put a tower in my backyard for a small amount of money, and so I said yes.
That means we're starting from scratch, from raw land. And the center of the tower is going to wind up right there. Okay, it's time to bring in the pros from Team Legacy, and a number of earth-moving machines began to arrive in the backyard. Our man Jay got to get a couple of trees out of the way first, and then we began creating a new entrance to the site directly from the road, one scoop at a time. Overall, the ground needed to be lowered and leveled to create the proper location for the new tower, and in this case, we were able to move the material to the low spots rather than having to truck it out. So let's meet the crew. We had Jay running the excavator and doing the serious digging and creating big piles of dirt. We had Dean running the front loader, picking up the piles and moving them over to the areas that needed it. We had Lance running the dozer and spreading out the piles and compacting them. And we had Octavio moving rocks out of the way with the tractor and bringing the water wagon around to keep the dust down and to help the transplanted material pack down solidly. What a great crew.
Yes, the Legacy people have been outstanding to work with. They are very cooperative and very helpful. I appreciate them being here.
This gizmo was a big help. It's a laser transit, and it has a laser that shoots out and spins around very quickly, and that establishes a horizontal plane at that elevation. For this project, there were 37 different elevations specified at different points around the site, so Dean calculated an offset for each point and took his calibrated stick with the laser receiver attached out to each of the different points. The receiver beeps different ways to tell him if we're too high or too low or right on the transit's elevation, and using the stick and the calculated offset, he can tell Jay how much more to dig or where we need to fill in to get to the right level. The new access road is going to go over an existing drainage ditch, so we dug down there and brought in some concrete pipes to make a culvert that'll let the water drain underneath the new road. We covered that up with some rocks and some gravel. We also dug a long ditch so we could bury the two conduits that'll carry the power and the fiber to the new tower. And over next to the house, we brought in some blocks that'll get painted shortly to create a solid, low-maintenance border. Then Jay dug us a nice big hole, about 40 feet square, to make a place for the big slab of concrete and rebar that will anchor the tower. And of course, all that digging made more dirt for the guys to redistribute. And here's the first rebar mat we built in that hole, with the bolt cage in the middle that the tower will actually be sitting on. And you can see, as we're putting together the second level mat, that each piece of rebar has to be manually placed and each crossing point has to be tied. It's a ton of work. But at last the day came for the big pour. Even before the sun came up, the pumper took its place and the first load of concrete arrived. The mud got pumped up and over and the pad began to take shape, with the Stinger team following right behind to vibrate out the air pockets. Then the parade of concrete trucks began, with two at a time backing up to the hopper and each one bringing about 40,000 pounds of mud. It took 20 truckloads to put this foundation together. We got the top of the tower support all smoothed out and gave it a little protection from the rain. Then, after the concrete dried, we backfilled the rest of the hole with a number of loads of fresh gravel, each of which we scooped up and redistributed and raked out and wetted down and compacted. We put in the vaults and the H-frame for the power and the fiber. Then we brought in some asphalt, paved the driveway, and just like that, Phase 1 is complete and it's time to stack the tower. Hey, they really can do it all. Score another one for Team Legacy.